Hello, my name is Riley Innes. This is a pre-recorded presentation for the 2020 meeting of the Society for Mathematical Psychology. In MathPsych, joint modelling techniques are becoming more prevalent, as seen by work from Brennan Turner, Peter Forsman, Mark Stivers, Scott Brown, and others. Generally, these modelling techniques are used to account for two types of data, such as behavioural and neural. However, there are other examples of joint models focused on one type of data, but from multiple tasks. The present research attempts to jointly fit data from two simultaneous cognitive tasks. Here, you must track two blue targets after they switch to red. This is the multiple object tracking task, or MOT, where participants track several objects in a display of distractors. At the same time, participants do the detection response task, or DRT, where you must detect and respond to a frequent stimuli. At the end of a trial, you are asked to decide whether or not dots were targets. The more objects to track, the more difficult the task becomes. Here, we use 3 levels of difficulty: no dots to track, 1 dot to track, or 4 dots to track. This task was completed by 2 groups, a student control group and a highly trained military group. The military group completed the task as part of their selection for a difficult and prestigious role. As expected, results showed that the military group outperformed the students by a considerable margin. The joint model of the task was made up of 2 components: the shifted Wald model of DRT responses and the linear ballistic accumulator model of MOT responses. Joint modeling these tasks offers several benefits. Primarily, we no longer treat the sources of data as independent and unrelated, and because of this, we can analyze links and covariances between datasets. The shifted Wald had drift rates and trigger failure parameters, which varied across tracking conditions, easy, medium, and hard. The LBA accounted for uneven response proportions in the threshold parameter for the conditions, and also had varying correct drift rates across conditions. These models were fit independently for each group, using the new particle metropolis within Gibbs sampler. The model appeared to fit the data well, with only slight misfits for each group, as highlighted below. Results from the Wald model suggested that RAF personnel had greater drift rates. Results from the LBA suggested that RAF personnel optimized their thresholds more efficiently than students, and had similar correct drift rates. In the covariance matrix, the key section of interest is the lower rectangle, where correlations between tasks are shown. We found that drift parameters between tasks showed positive correlations. LBA threshold correlated with Wald drift, and interestingly, LBA drift showed negative correlation with the trigger failure parameter for both groups. These results show that performance across both tasks is somewhat correlated, but differs between the groups. Where some individuals may trade off performance across tasks, the general pattern of responding was to allocate equal resources to both tasks, meaning that individuals who performed well in one task performed well in the other. This can be seen in the respective drift rate parameters and the negative correlation between LBA and Wald trigger failures, where trigger failures drop as drift increases. In conclusion, the trade-off between tasks was evident between groups, where the RAF group were better at the task overall and traded off between tasks more efficiently compared to students. This analysis was conducted using the new PMWG sampler from the Newcastle Cognition Lab, as seen in Gavin Cooper's poster talk. The PMWG sampler allows for efficient estimation of parameters and covariance matrices through a Gibbs sampling process. This is especially useful for models with correlated parameters, large parameter spaces, and limited amounts of data. For more information on the new sampler, search for Newcastle CL PMWG. To find out about the present research, please reach out to me at riley.innes@ulm.edu.au or on Twitter @RileyInnes.